Ready to blast off Venus in a little silver rocket tonight. Deep into space to another region to visit an alien civilization. To the world of love, searching for the perfect solution. Hello people, get ready to sing a Melojan Rhapsody. They say up in Venus, everything is beautiful everywhere. And the scent of roses, myrrh and jasmine fill the atmosphere. There is a game and the name is play. Sweet action, satisfaction in every way. Venus, here we come, bringing you a musical freedom. Hello people, get ready to sing a Melojan Rhapsody. Hey. dance to you here. We just want to get you out of our mind. Where the grass is green and the living is free. This time so tomorrow, that's where we'll be. Away from the struggle, away from the strife and the hassle. Hello people, get ready to sing a Melojan Rhapsody.
we must do what we...
And let me see who is under the YouTube. Quickly. Let's see who's under the YouTube. Let me see. We have Listra Abraham, Alban Harris. Hey, Alban, what's up, bro? And once again, yeah, thank you, bro. Baby Daddy, Wilfred Antoine, Mayana, Julian, Phyllis Mitchell, Hillary Joseph, Cynthia Bartholomew, Veronica Lewis, Dominic Leroy, Maud Martin, Sherma Jeremiah. Good night. I hope Zila here, man. You know, there's a big problem she do here. Errol Bonaparte, good night. Jenna Benjamin, Gertrude Abraham, good night to you, girl. I hope the cold ain't treating you too bad up there. Good night to you, Gertrude. Faith Lynn, Holly Douglas, Janice Mitchell, Maria Noel, Jacinta Livingston, Hermione Batiste, Adrian Watts, good night to you and your lovely wife. I know you are both locked in. Deborah Laborde, good night to you. Vanessa Lalji, Jackie Raymond, Agnes Henry, yeah, Ann Andrews, Kathleen Ledlow, Carl Jones, Cindy Thomas, Onika Charles, good night to you, Nursey. Let me see, Alan Jones, you see, you get it a second time. Nice. Denise Sandy, good night to you. Good life. Kelvin Alexis, good night to you, bro. Oh, Kelvin, yes, I have to give you a call back. Sorry about that. Nick Batiste, yeah, I see Deborah Laborde is there. Sky, Jen, good night to you. Christine Otley, Stephanie John, Sherms Houston, Gemma Warwood, Matthew Bowen, good night, my brother in Brooklyn. Shrajan John, good night. Kenny Buckmeyer, what's up, bro? Eliza, well, yeah, Kenny saying we need to have a Talking Points Christmas party. Well, it might be Talking Points together with the Buzz, together with the classroom. We might have to get together and do one thing, yeah. Eliza Bernard, I'm serious, Yolande Pariag, Esther Frederick, Jenny Samuel, Angie Iva Holas, Jocelyn Matheson, Jacket Man. Hope everything is okay, bro. Keep the faith, Jacket Man. Keep the faith. Right. Charmaine, good night to you. I see you there, Charmaine Thomas. Kashima Roberts, good night. Crystal, I shout you out already, but take it again. Fitzroy Philip, Dominic Antoine, Abraham Pope, good night to you, bro. Christopher Johnson, Marilyn Ferguson, Clive Raymond, GJ, good night to you. Dennis Griffith, Ron Julian, Teddy Bear, good night to you as well, bro. And let me see, what happened to my Facebook? Where did my Facebook go? Yeah, wait now, what do my Facebook? Behave yourself. Come up here. Nice. Yeah, folks, remember to like and share. You've got to like and share. And Nurse Wendy Ann McGuire, good night to you. Malaika, good night. Dennis Fabrio, Nicola Batiste, Cleaver Williams, Rhonda George, good night. Landon Jane, Donna Langdon, Sharon Felix, Ingrid Bourne, Cicely Celestine, the Buzz Boss, good night to you. Red Girl Pascal, Glenda John, Devon Romaine. Devon, we had to have a talk. Not on air, but we had to have a talk. Jane Bethel, Anna Lewis, good night. Maudlin Bartholomew, and I see, yes, Maria Ramsey, good night to you. Good night to all of you under the various lives. Good night to those of you joining us via 94.9. That's out there in Brooklyn. We Noise Radio, and especially online, they've got the app. Yeah, you could get them on your Apple device, all kind of thing. Again, Noise Radio, wherever you want it, you're getting it. All right. Joyce Phillip, good night to you. I hope that you're having a wonderful night. Let me say a special good night to you, Malton. If I forget you, Malton, good night to you and my loving cousin. Yes? I hope both of you are having a wonderful, wonderful night tonight. All right. And hey, Ira, yes, Rasta, special good night, Aya. All right. Yes, indeed, folks, we've got quite a lot to speak about tonight. Today was a kind of busy day. You know, I didn't even get to make my notes as I got in. Yeah, I didn't even get to make my notes tonight. You know, yeah, I usually try to jot down a few notes and so in relation to the various issues we're going to speak about. First of all, there's an issue that I've been hearing. I've been hearing this one back and forth through social media for quite a while. I've heard questions being asked in relation to it. And I'm going to ask that question. I know why I'm asking the question, but I'm going to ask that question too. Because it's simply a question. Have various political activists of the National Democratic Congress been afforded official and in some cases diplomatic passports? are asking a question. Because I am hearing some names being called there as carrying official or diplomatic passports. So I'm wondering, and I think it would be really good if the government could actually put out the list of people. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Put out the list of people who have been given official or diplomatic passports since coming into office. Because from what I'm hearing right now, like the thing getting like a dog show. I ain't calling names, but the thing getting like a dog show. Yeah? So again, because I'm hearing some name, and let me tell you all this, Grenada, for those of you that may not know, Grenada has 3 types of passport, same as all other countries, but 3 types of passports you have in Grenada. You have the ordinary passport, which is the one with the blue cover that most of us have. Yeah, the vast majority of Grenadians, nearly everybody that travels and so on, that's the passport we generally have. The blue cover passport, which is your ordinary passport. There's a level right above that called an official passport. It has a green cover. That passport affords you some sort of diplomatic niceties when you're traveling and so on. You don't have to go in the normal line with everybody else. You can go into the line for officials and diplomats and so on, which is generally faster according to where you're going. It's faster and you get a certain type of treatment when you're carrying an official passport. In fact, all of our cultural ambassadors, they carry official passports. So all our cultural ambassadors, Mr. Killer, he carries an official passport. So he has the green passport. He doesn't have the normal blue one. He has the official passport. You have, who else? You have Boise and various other artists and so on who were afforded official passports over the years. They have official passports. You have several other people who were named as cultural ambassadors. Francis Urias Peters, Ricardo Keynes Douglas, Lazarus Antoine. You have all these people that have been afforded official passports due to their contribution to culture over the years in Grenada. There are many others. I can't remember the entire list from memory, but I remember those specific names as being on the list as people that were afforded official passports over the years. Yeah. Let me see. Scholar was afforded one, but as a PS right now, I think he probably is carrying a red passport, because after that, you have the other level of diplomatic passports. Yeah. And as a sporting icon, Kirani was not given an official passport. He was given a red passport. So he has a diplomatic passport. Anderson Peters, Candisha Scott, all these other people that were performing for the Olympics, and so they had official passports. They had the same one as Mr. Killer and others and so on. Right, they have official passports. That's what they were given. The list was sent out a good while ago in Parliament before. But under this administration, they've not published an updated list, which is what you would like to see to know who are the people and what is the reasoning behind them carrying official or diplomatic passports, right? You have the diplomatic passports, which is what government ministers, your governor general, your prime minister, the various ministers in government, they tend to carry. They all carry diplomatic passports. Not every member of parliament carries an diplomatic passport. In fact, I am not sure if under this administration all parliamentarians have been given diplomatic passports. I knew in the past what happened, and somebody could probably message me and let me know. What happened in the past is that parliamentarians in opposition were given official passports, but not diplomatic passports. So you understand the different levels now. You have diplomatic passports, which is the highest level. Permanent secretaries, they carry diplomatic passports from what I can remember, right? Other high government officials, your diplomatic corps, diplomats who work on behalf of the state of Grenada, they tend to carry diplomatic passports, right? But I'm trying to understand the reasoning. If it is true that certain political activists of the National Democratic Congress are carrying official passports, I want to know what is the reasoning behind that. Also, Also, there is an existing situation. Yeah? There is an existing situation that may upset the apple cart for many of the rest of us. Now, governments, not just Grenada, can assist different individuals who are going for their visa. They can assist them through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs by giving them, a diplomatic note to carry to the U.S. Embassy. I'm going to deal with that just now. Somebody just sent something to me. So let me close it down before I get thrown off. Governments can give you a diplomatic note for when you go to the U.S. Embassy. It is a letter that comes from your Ministry of Foreign Affairs that asks that special courtesies be extended to person A or person B or person C in special circumstances because that person is in need of a visa to visit the United States. And it can assist individuals to get their visa to go to the United States. What I am hearing now is that the U.S. Embassy is inundated because this is only supposed to be used in special circumstances. But the U.S. Embassy is inundated to the point of being concerned that where too much diplomatic notes are coming, it seems as though every single minister under the NDC administration is trying to get every member of their family and all of their friends and some of their close colleagues and so who they does lime with, trying to get visas for them. You have the instance of one particular, and if they think I don't know, I know, they have the instance of one particular individual here within the state of Grenada that applied at least 2 times before to get a visa to enter the United States and was refused. Because according to my sources out of Barbados, these people could not show any form of income. In other words, they wasn't working anyway, so they had no set form of income. And if you're applying for a visa, unless you're over 60, and they see that you have no form of income coming in, they will refuse you that visa. But lo and behold, said individual has now received a visa because they were given a diplomatic note. So it seems as though if you have applied for a visa before to the US and you didn't get through, that all you had to do, is go and speak to your MP. Yeah? No, and not the MPs on the opposition side. No, they can't get the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to do that. Yeah? So it seems as though all you have to do is go and talk. Because from what I'm hearing, on the American end, they are upset about this thing. Because a diplomatic note, you're not supposed to be getting diplomatic notes coming out of Grenada on a weekly basis. That is not supposed to be happening. And then you have people who have been refused visas to enter the United States for various reasons. And now you have coming out of Grenada diplomatic notes coming up lap and cut to the U.S. Embassy. Let them tell me I lie. Or if you like get that from here? Or if you like get it from here? Or if you like do have more people over there too? So you have that problem. And it is causing a concern that when people are applying over there and they are refused, all you have to do is go and talk to a MP and ask them for a diplomatic note. They give you a diplomatic note and bing bang, you have visa. Have visa will travel you in the United States. Because Grenada, through their Ministry of Foreign Affairs, is saying, this is a good person. Give the person the visa now. What do all you? Give them a visa. That sounds right to you? I could understand if a person has a medical condition, is in urgent need, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, together with the Ministry of Health that can verify the medical condition of said individual, gives a diplomatic note to that person and their family who would need to travel with them to go to Barbados and get a visa in emergency circumstances to travel to the US. I could understand that. Yeah? I could understand in the case of some individual that has something very urgent that they must do, either life and death or so on, in the States, and as such, they need that sort of assistance. I could understand that. But what I can't understand is political activists and friends and families of government ministers feel it's pretty well and okay to just go to government ministers and say, well, okay, I need a visa. I didn't get one before, so give me a visa. And then they just get a diplomatic note out of Grenada going to the US embassy. The people fed up and they are complaining. They are complaining. Every single week is individuals coming up to Barbados now with diplomatic notes asking that these people be granted a US visa. So what is this thing becoming a joke? Because there will be an effect, because there are quotas. In case you all don't know, the US have quotas of the numbers of visas that they are allowed to give out to the Eastern Caribbean. It's a complicated system. But they do have a quota of a specific number of visas that they are allowed to give to the OECS. And per country, they have a specific number. They may go over slightly, they may go under. Yeah? But they have a quota that they work with. So with all of these diplomatic notes going up, you may very well find someone who is going up to Barbados now to get a US visa and is a proper candidate. Because Grenada's quota has been chomped into so much, that person might be wasting their money. Because while they may qualify, if the US pass their quota, they pass their quota. If it is 400 they're allowed to give, and they give 410, don't think they're going to give 411. So people who otherwise would have normally qualified to get their visa are now going to have problems to be able to, well, what kind of thing is this? Okay. I heard that story. Yeah. So people who otherwise would have been able to get their visas to go to the United States legitimately, people who just want to go, you want to go and shop, you want to go and visit family members you haven't seen for years. Yeah, you ain't going and stay. You just want to go and you're coming back. You love Grenada. Right now, you have a lot of people up there. They're feeling chill. Place cold. They want to come home. Yeah, so you ain't going to stay. But you're going to get problems because some government ministers, well, not some, but all, basically, because I'm hearing it's nearly every one of their sitting parliamentarians have sent lists of names down that are appearing over in Barbados. Yeah. So you're hearing this thing taking place. So it's problems. Yeah. So listen, I think what we need is an audit being done of all the diplomatic passports and the official passports. And so let me hear who have official passports. We might be surprised to find out some of the names that crop up there. I hearing things. I ain't seen no passport, so I can't say that is it. That is the truth. But I hearing things. I hearing names calling. And if those names are calling and they rarely have diplomatic passports, this government has to answer as to why these people have official passports. Well, Terry get diplomatic passport, he's some ambassador to whatever or wherever. So he get diplomatic, but we understand that was the problem with Dr. Mitchell and NNP, and now he get diplomatic passport, he's happy. Yeah? But it seems as though that mindset has permeated within the bowels of the National Democratic Congress right now. So it looks like everybody want diplomatic or official passport and thing now. So some kind of man flashing past, you have to wonder what's going on. All right? Nice. So that's the first one. I'm just seeing somebody just sent something to me there. Oh boy. So the hotspot is closing. Sad but true, hotspot in the Carenage would be closing its doors December 3rd. Watch out for a weekend sale. They're going to be great. I could say a lot about that, but I'll hold it off for tonight. Maybe Monday night. Yeah, that's problematic, especially for the staff who are there. Those that were not hired into the Ministry of Implementation, because Ministry of Implementation is basically hotspot right now. So and I'm seeing that from the Hotspot Mega Deals Facebook page, that hotspot is closing its doors as of December 3rd. So unless somebody hacked their page, it seems as though the hotspot on the Carenage will be closing its doors. As I said, I could give some stories in relation to that. Yeah, some stories about checks that bounce and all kind of thing, and suppliers that not willing to supply because of outstanding balances and all kind of thing. Yeah, so but you can talk about that next time. Nice? Yeah. Let me get some more info on that one. But I just saw that one propping up there. Yeah, economy doing well, but hotspot closing down. That means staff that are there going to be losing their jobs. Brothers and sisters who working with hotspot, go down and check Brother Ram in Grand Ansel. You might be lucky to get a little hold on by Brother Ram. Yeah, money you have to make, all you have to survive. Go and check Brother Ram down there with Rams. Yeah, go and see if you get a little hold on down there. You never could tell. He might have a 1 or 2 space there, right? He might have a 1 or 2 space there that all you might still be able to get a little jam in. All right, so go on there. Because the others done go on in Ministry of Implementation and Transformation or Transport, whatever they call it, MIT. They go on Mobilization, Implementation, and Transformation. Right, the others done go on over there who used to work in hotspot at different levels. They go on there, all you get left back. Right, so since all you get left back, go right. Nice, don't go left back. Go right forward and go and check Brother Ram or somebody else and see what's going on. Folks, we will have the phone lines open. 440-7377. That's 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. Yeah, those are the numbers for you to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program. As I said, we have a lot to speak about tonight. So I ain't sticking. That's the first one we deal with there right now. Yeah, diplomatic notes. Yeah, right now, the team in Barbados, they fed up at Grenada with that. Nice.
We live in a time when the rulers of men are scornful of principles of godliness, wisdom, and freedom.
You know what's interesting? I was listening to, well, first of all, let me say this. Usually, when the government of Grenada sends out releases, they email releases to the media. I am on the media list, and I'm also on the media list. I am accredited to Parliament as a media practitioner, and that's the highest decision-making body in the land. I'm accredited to Parliament. I am a media practitioner, and I have been a media practitioner, even though I have my bias. I openly state my bias, but even though I have my bias, I'm a media practitioner. I've been so for many years, right? So usually I would receive the emails that are sent out in relation to all the stuff that government is doing and so on. Once they send out an email, I receive it. Strange enough, the email announcing today's press conference with the Prime Minister was not sent to me. I did not receive it. Yeah? I received emails from before. I received emails from after. I didn't receive emails in relation, maybe they're afraid that I come and sit down there and start to ask some kind of tough questions. Yeah? But that was not sent to me. And if they feel afraid to come and ask questions, I ain't afraid of them, because when I come and know they can't answer me. So, they did not send that because it seems as though they're afraid something. Yes, you, Neela and friends, it seems as though you're all afraid something, so that email was never sent to me. Right? That is water under the bridge, no problem. Right. So, I see the press conference going on. Secondly, they know that there are certain media houses in Grenada that are unable, especially at short notice, to attend some of these press engagements and so when they have them, especially if they have them emergency. So usually, in this year of our Lord 2023, what anybody around the Caribbean and so on would do, and around the world would do, is that they offer both the in-person and online option for media entities. So, the people like the Nancy Maguire at the Grenadian Voice usually comes in via Zoom. You would have even some of the media houses, sometimes GBN. Sometimes they can't make it. They would have somebody in via Zoom. MTV, the same things. They have a person in via Zoom, somebody in the newsroom, just Zooms and they would ask a question, or so somebody would tell them ask that question from inside the newsroom. They ask that question. The same goes with people like Linda Straker and so on. Strange enough, there was no online option for this press conference. I would think that you would want the widest coverage if the Prime Minister is going to be reporting on his international travels. I would think that you would offer to all the media houses the option to be able to sign in and ask their questions. But it seems as though there was a deliberate attempt, clear as day in the eyes of anybody, clear as day, to exclude some media personalities and some media houses from being able to ask questions of the Prime Minister. So instead, you end up with some media house had 2 people there asking questions and this kind of thing. Right? So yes, there are some questions asked to the Prime Minister and so on today. But the thing is, I was extremely disappointed in the report that I received from the minister. And let me withdraw that statement. I would like that statement struck from the Hansard, please. Let me withdraw that statement. I was not disappointed because, honestly, I did not expect better. And if you don't expect better, you cannot be disappointed. So let me withdraw the statement that I was disappointed. I got what I expected to get. So I listened to the press conference 2.5 times because I listened it twice and then I'll get halfway through and I had to do something else a third time. Trying to hear what were the positive outcomes. Yeah, somebody's saying they're afraid Kellen Bob too. Yeah, they're afraid Kellen Bob come online and ask some kind of questions too. Yeah, they may be afraid of him. So I was expecting to hear from that particular team, if you're doing something on the travels and so on, the bottom line Grenadians want to know, if they spend all that money for you to travel, what you come back with? So I listened to the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Again, I didn't expect anything much. He went to China. He visited some place with manufacturing. He visits some other place. All he telling you is he visit and he talk. He visit and he talk. But he ain't come back with anything to say, well, okay, now Grenada has access to $2 million for that project. Or no, because that is what you want to hear, isn't it? You want to know if you spend $40,000 for him to go there, you want to know that when he comes back from there, that you're hearing, well, we secured $2 million for that, $1 million for that. We have access to $10 million to redo all the schools around Grenada and so on that need this or that, or to add on science labs here and there, or kitchens and whatever here. You expect to hear that. Instead, all you're hearing is that we went out there and name throwing, the tossing names at you. We met with Mr. So-and-so at this place and we met with Mr. So-and-so. We ain't care about that. We don't want to hear that. We want to hear how much money you come back with. You come back with an empty bag? That is what you come back with? You're not the technical person in the ministry. You will be gone in at least 3 years, but hopefully you'll be gone earlier than that because it's 1 term all again, so you're going to be gone. So you didn't need to get no technical experience out in them places there. That's worthless on you. Send somebody from the ministry who is going to be able to utilize that when the new National Party comes back into office in a short time. Yeah, but instead, you're hearing the minister talking about, well, he went to China and he meet with this one and he meet with that one, and they went to the United Nations and they talk and that kind of thing. Yeah? That is what they come back with. Only, as somebody just said, as ideas, yes, London. Ideas. Fatman George with the song, boy. All they have is ideas. Oh, that's Inspector? Yeah. All they have is ideas. Right? So they gone there and they come back empty-handed. Best you did stay in Grenada? The Prime Minister spoke about, in fact, before I go to the Prime Minister, it was interesting to hear the Minister of Foreign Affairs. I don't have the clip with it. I didn't get a chance to do that, as I said. We do have little issues. It's been sorted out now, but we still have 1 or 2 issues we're working on with getting the amount of clips that we want to get. Now, the minister was speaking about the fact that he spoke with the Canadians and they want the Canadians to remove the visa restriction. So now they have what? A technical working group that's supposed to be in Grenada working along with the Canadians. Listen, the Canadians hear that you have already taken in close to 2,000 Russians under the CBI program. Yeah? No, not Osama bin Laden and them. No. Not ISIS and ISIL. No, not them. They have heard that you have taken in from a sanctioned country 2,000 citizens and you have made them citizens of your country. Do you think they are going to remove a visa restriction on you or slap it tighter? Ask me. Because you go and you're negotiating with Canadians. You think they know what's going on in Grenada when it comes to the CBI? You think that they don't know that there are how much thousand people out of Russia lined up to be approved for Grenadian passports and citizenship? You don't think they know that? They're not going to remove the visa restriction as long as these things continue. But anyway, we can hope for the best. You never know. But they are negotiating to have the visa. Yeah, other governments negotiate. The NDC before, the last NNP. Everybody negotiating. Can it ain't bother with you? Look what they did with the other islands and Grenada was skipped. You didn't come and say why Grenada was skipped. Why they go to the other countries and they give them visa-free travel if they have the US visa and different things like that. You didn't say why Grenada was skipped out of that, but that you're trying to get the visa restriction on Grenada removed. Yet still the same government of which you're part of is taking in people up to today, the 22nd day of November 2023, taking in people and making them citizens of Grenada from an internationally sanctioned country. Yeah? You all are still processing people from Russia. And you expect the Canadians, they'll be diplomatic. Okay, yes, with technical working group. And as soon as you leave the room, they say, let us stay there with that technical working group. Them feel we bothering with them. We move our visa restriction, they mad. That is what's taking place there. Right? So outside of that, we heard the Prime Minister. And the Prime Minister spoke. Yeah? The Prime Minister spoke about, what did he speak about? Yeah? He spoke about, he went to Saudi Arabia and he meet with Prince this and he meet with Prince that. And he mentioned the word gala, they had a gala at the end. You know, he like gala. Yeah. So they had a gala at the end. They had a lunch. So he went and eat, right? They had lunch and that kind of thing. So here I am and I'm listening because I know these people, the Arabians and so on. They're very friendly people. They're very giving people. So you're going there and you're eating and you're... So I wait until when the Prime Minister come to, well, look, we have a 2 million there and we get a 20 million there and we have an access to possibly 200 million to redo this road network or whatever and thing. I was waiting to hear that. Up to now, I'm still waiting. All you hear about is all the fancy dinners and lunch and meeting Prince this and Prince that and so on. And we're still waiting to hear, where the money? You go and make them kind of lime and them, they ain't supposed to come back brooks, bro. Yeah? And you don't have to go and beg for it. You don't have to go and beg for it. They ask you to come there because they know what they put aside to be able to help. Dominica is rebuilding their capital city. They've gotten how much million to do that? St. Vincent, I think, is about to build a cruise port. They're being funded through Saudi Arabia, if I remember correctly. They've gotten millions of dollars to do a cruise port. They're trying, they went on the Gare Airport. They see Grenada, they go on the Gare Airport now, and now they see we had stadium, they go on the Gare Stadium now, they see we have cruise port, and they realize the effectiveness, so they're trying to make sure they get Ralph, making sure he get cruise port and them thing too. So we're hearing what the other countries are doing. All we hear in Grenada is that we sign a loan, and the loan is this X amount, and you have X amount of years, 7 years, I think it is, grace period where you don't have to pay, and then 25 years repayment or some kind of thing like that. Whereas under the National Party, you say about 40 years repayment, 10 years grace, and 0.something% interest rates. They take a loan at, what was it, 1 point something? Yeah. But anyhow, they take it, they sign it, that is there already. You will see when the money come in, but it's there already. Yeah? So we're expecting to hear from the Prime Minister, that kind of thing. Then he mentioned that he went to Dubai in a CBI conference. And I'm waiting to hear about where the benefits. You went to that CBI conference last year. You've been there again this year. You're a CBI agent, so we know it can be profitable to you as an individual and members of your cabinet and members of your political organization. So we know it can be beneficial to them and yourself. But what was the benefit to the state of Grenada? Was it necessary that you go? This is 2023. You could have zoomed into that. You didn't have to go. Serious. So they went and they had this whole press conference to basically tell us nothing. Because they went and they came back with nothing but ideas. So we're still waiting, to hear what it is that they came back with. But interestingly enough, while listening to that press conference, a question was posed to the Prime Minister in relation to, and I'm trying to get it here, a statement that was made by Mr. Brian Grimes, the president of the Public Workers Union. Remember what you were listening with him the other night, and I wonder if I should play Mr. Grimes first. Let me play Mr. Grimes first. So let me just change and play Mr. Grimes first, and then, right. Yes, so let me see if I can get this one with Mr. Grimes first, and I'll play what Mr. Grimes said, and then I'll play for you what the Prime Minister said about what Mr. Grimes said when asked about that issue. Let me see, just trying to make sure that I get it right. Yeah, I'm making sure that I have the right one to play. All right, so let's hear what Mr. Grimes said, and then we'll hear, I'll play right after that, I'll play what the Prime Minister said in relation to what Mr. Grimes said.
And this is something the union has been pushing for a long time. The years that were temporary or unregularized, that's for people who are contract and will now become part of the PSC on the establishment, that will be considered for pensionable purposes.
All right.
So they don't throw away the years. So if you're working 10 years temporary and then they regularize you now, they're not going to start you from year one to say, well, all the 10 years can't count for pension because you have to make a certain amount of years to be pensionable. So those will be counted, and this is something we have been pushing, and we got confirmation from officials that those years will be counted. Where we having an issue is how it's being done. Because normally, if you make someone permanent and you regularize them, you go back a little retroactive, a little bit. And this is...
Yeah, folks, I think I played the wrong one there. Let me see if I could get the correct one. Because what I was speaking about is where Mr. Grimes is speaking about them not being paid, the increase that was given. Now, the contract workers were not receiving that. So let me make sure I have the correct one in relation to that. In fact, Mr. Grimes, when he was speaking on that program, referenced the fact that the workers are not receiving their payments, the 4% increase that they're supposed to receive for this year, that they have not been receiving that. Contract workers were not receiving that. Now, he also said that they had spoken with the Ministry of Finance in relation to that issue, that they had spoken to the Ministry of Finance in relation to that issue, and that they were promised that those payments, there was some, you're not sure what the issue was, but that those payments would be made before the end of 2023. So this is a major issue. You have workers who have been complaining for several months that they have not been receiving the increase. The contract workers were supposed to be receiving the same increase that workers under the public service were receiving as part of the agreement with government in July of this year. That has not been happening. The workers under the public service, they have been receiving they received their increase, and I believe there was a little back pay portion to it. They got that. But the workers who are contract workers were not receiving it for whatever reason. Today, when that question was posed to the Prime Minister, when that question was posed to the Prime Minister, let me see what he had to say in relation to that particular issue. Let me just get it here. Sometimes, that particular clip, I am not seeing it. So I'm just making sure I have the one with the Prime Minister. Yes, so I do have the one with the Prime Minister. Let's hear what he had to say.
All right, this question is for the Prime Minister. Recently, we heard the president of the Grenada Public Workers Union claiming that a huge percentage of workers haven't received their 4% increases yet. Can you shed some light on that for us, please?
Yes, well, I've heard that. I'm not aware that that's the case. That's my first response. And if that is factual. It's a little troubling because obviously the negotiations were concluded a while now, and it's something that was agreed. Naturally, there's a retroactive aspect of it because we are dealing with 2023, 2024, and 2025, and the negotiations were concluded during the year. I have not actually had any briefing that suggested that is accurate. And I want to make this point, the 4% increase traditionally would have been only for established public servants. This administration took the position to, in fact, extend the 4% to all persons who work for the government. And that includes the persons who traditionally would not receive it, who are called unestablished workers or workers who are on these contracts for services. So naturally, it meant that the administrative work that is required to get this done would be more because you are dealing with a significant increase in the number of persons who would be impacted by that. If that might have led to some delays in that happening, that, in my view, is understandable. But certainly if there are persons who may not have had it, I'm sure that the necessary administrative work that has to be done to ensure that happens will be dealt with. All right. And I'm just saying this because I've not received any private complaints or any correspondence from the public workers saying what is said publicly. And too often in Grenada, that is the kind of thing that happens. People go to the media and say stuff without giving the persons who have the opportunity to address it the chance to address it or even bringing it to their attention. So I have not received any correspondence indicating that is the case.
But I don't know how the Prime Minister expects anybody to find him and tell him anything because he's never here. Yeah? The Prime Minister is more out of the country than in. Yeah? So the Prime Minister is hardly here in the first place for anybody to be able to tell him anything about what is going on. Yeah? So this has been an issue that I have seen Mr. Grimes raise several times online, and that he said this week, he said he spoke to the Ministry of Finance on that issue because workers have been coming to him. They have been coming to the PRO and other members of the executive of the Public Workers Union and complaining, hey, we ain't getting our raise, we didn't get a raise and we ain't seeing it on our salary up to now. So every time they get a pay, there's nothing there. Yeah? So if the Prime Minister had probably spent some time in the country, he would know what's going on. You understand? But anyway, there's another issue that I would like to raise from today's press conference. I want you all to take a listen to the Prime Minister as he tries to worm his way out of this one. Huh? I know some of you don't like it, but oh gosh, yeah. Let's hear the Prime Minister try to worm his way out of this particular one. All right, nice. So let me just bring it up here for you. Nice. I'm going to make sure the audio nice and clear because I want you all to hear. My St. Lucian friends, Gassa, all you listen, mate, now.
Prime Minister, good afternoon. You created a little bit of a stir in St. Lucia. I want to ask you about that. What did you mean when you said to the SLP that they should ensure that? Was there any deeper meaning to it when you said they should vote St. Lucian? And what prompted that particular line of conversation at the SLP meeting?
First, let me make it clear. I said St. Lucians should vote for St. Lucians. And I want to make sure that that is clear. And what that means, not just in the context of St. Lucia, in the context of Grenadians, we need to put people in office who actually value what it means to be, in the case of St. Lucian, what it means in the case of Grenadian to be Grenadian. You could actually be a citizen of St. Lucia, a citizen of Grenada. You could actually run for office, and when one examines your behavior, you'd realize that oftentimes we eschew the things that are Grenadian, we eschew the things that are St. Lucian, we eschew the things that are CARICOM, whether it's our institutions, whether it's our culture, whether it's our way of life, and more importantly, our people. So it is important for us to appreciate that we need patriots. We need people who are nationalistic. We need people who don't cower simply because we're small, or because we're black, or because we have a multi-ethnic background, or because we come from a history of colonialism or slavery. We need people who are going to fight for the Caribbean, people who believe in the Caribbean. And when they say they're proud, they tell you they're proud to be Grenadian, St. Lucian, Dominican, as the case may be. And that is what I meant, that is what I mean, and that is what I will continue to say.
The opposition in St. Lucia interpreted that as interfering in the domestic affairs of St. Lucia. Can you explain a little bit about what prompted that line of thought that you expressed at the convention, sir?
Well, I thought I just answered it. I can't speak for. Well, I spoke about a number of things. I had, I think, a 15 or 20-minute address. So the media and the public and the political pundits could pick on anything that I said within that address and ask questions about it. They chose to pick that. So you'd have to ask them why that seemed to be the most fascinating part of the conversation. The Prime Minister of St. Lucia delivered a 2-hour address. After I spoke, I didn't hear a word about his address, about the accomplishments of the St. Lucia Labour Party, about the many challenges that governments face, and the things that have been done to address it. So actually, I find it a little sad, to be honest, that in the context of a convention, in the context of a speech by the sitting Prime Minister of St. Lucia, which was wide-ranging in breadth, depth, and scope, that the only thing that seemed to be tickling people's fancy is me saying you should vote for a St. Lucian.
Yeah, folks, my take, Mr. Prime Minister, nothing is wrong with being wrong and admitting that you are wrong. Before Grenada's Prime Minister went to St. Lucia and made that statement, a parliamentarian in St. Lucia, who is now part of the SLP administration, who ran as an independent candidate in Castries, I think it's Castries Central, if I remember correctly. Mr. Richard Frederick made the statement, that they should change the laws in St. Lucia so that anybody born outside of St. Lucia should not be able to become the Prime Minister of St. Lucia or hold public office in St. Lucia. Once you were born outside, you're not supposed to become the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. Only born St. Lucians should become the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. He has a program. He said that. There was raging discussion in various parts of the St. Lucian diaspora and in St. Lucia itself in relation to that issue about who was born in St. Lucia and who is St. Lucian and what makes an individual a St. Lucian. You all heard Mr. Leonard Spider Montu, the PRO of the United Workers' Party out there in St. Lucia, was on this program explaining that. He went into detail and gave the background of where that particular narrative about only St. Lucians came from. Yeah? Even on Sunday, I saw my good friend Mr. Alan Chasney, the target of that particular attack, was also speaking and giving a background to the entire concept of what our Prime Minister went and engaged in out there in St. Lucia. So all our Prime Minister had to do was come today, be a big man for once, and admit, hey, what I did was wrong. I am sorry. I would not do something like that again. And I want to apologize to Mr. Alan Chasney and all St. Lucians, especially those who were not born in St. Lucia out in the diaspora for whatever reason, not my business. But I would like to apologize to all St. Lucians. That is what a big man does do. Just like when a big man tell you that they have a cabinet conclusion that shows who and who was involved in a corrupt act, and a year and some later they still cannot present that cabinet conclusion so that they should come and say, I am sorry. No. Yeah, up to now, you ain't the sorry for that. And every time they try to sidestep that cabinet conclusion talk. Because that is the way that they operate. They say things. They said, this is the same individual that said to us as Grenadians that contract work is illegal. They said contract work as existed prior to the 23rd of June was illegal. What have they done? Contract a pile of people since they come in. Contract left, right, and center. Yeah? The same illegal contract work is what they're using. All the people who was in hotspot, are they under the public service working in the Ministry of Mobilization, Implementation, and Transformation, or they under contract? They're under the public service or they under contract, the illegal contract. All the people working as advisors in the various ministries Are they under contract or are they under the public service? Have they been brought in through the Public Service Commission? You understand where I'm coming from? The individual tends to make statements, and when given the golden opportunity to finally be a man with cojones and stand up and say, hey, I have made a mistake, I'm sorry. Instead of doing that, they want to double down on the nonsense. There's no if, what, or but about it. We heard the statements of the Grenadian Prime Minister over there. And he went as far to give a little, listen, I could have been in Canada too. Who was the person he talking about with Canada? He was talking about Mr. Shasney. I wonder if we should call Mr. No, we don't call Mr. Shasney tonight. We'll bring on Mr. Shasney next week. Or maybe tomorrow night to respond to that. Yeah? But he went as far as to say that I could have been in Canada too because my mother was living there and my brother still living there. But I took the decision to come back home and so on. So to try and give the impression that it wasn't that he was saying is something else. I think that Mr. Deacon and Miss Mitchell is only fooling himself. Because nobody else, not even the people sitting with him when he made that statement, nobody else believes what he's saying. That is not that he did mean. We know very well it was a racist, xenophobic statement that you made. Apologize. Show growth as an individual and apologize. Yeah, that's all he had to do. Apologize. But instead of that, no. Given the platform, double down on it. In other words, may do nothing wrong. And I say it before I go say it again. And then, on top of that, if the Prime Minister St. Lucia talk for 2 hours and he ain't say nothing that people care about because we basically realize that it's birds of a feather flocking together. It's like Deacon talking for 2 hours. Nobody interested in hearing what he had to say because we know already what's going on in the country. So if he talked for 2 hours and the story that came out of the entire thing was you speaking for 20 minutes or whatever, it shows that St. Lucians really felt offended by what you said. To the point of that the offense that you made to those people drowned out everything else from that convention. Not another story has made the wrongs from that convention. Nobody can tell anything the Prime Minister say or anything else anybody else say because they were so offended. And in Grenada here, so embarrassed by the statements that you made that became the entire issue. Yeah? So to come and say, well, the Prime Minister talked for 2 hours, so what you want the people to go and attack what the Prime Minister say after 2 hours? No. You're the nonsense Lucian, you'll get it. That is one of them, He's one of them. Yeah? Win, lose, or draw, he's still one of them. Right? So they go attack the foreigner, which is you. Not Mr. Shasney, you. Right? 440-7... All you like thing. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. Let me just give you all a quick programming note though. Tomorrow, I want to attempt to bring something a little earlier than normal tomorrow. Yes, I'll be doing the program at the normal time, God's willing. But there is this taking place tomorrow. And Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell will be delivering an address over at the Cave Hill campus in Barbados tomorrow. So the Department of Government Sociology, Social Work and Psychology in the Faculty of Social Science, they're having the 18th Patrick Emmanuel Memorial Lecture. And the theme of this year's lecture is going to be reflections on the role of prime ministerial power and authority in regional and international spaces. And of course, they called on the most competent person that they could find, not just in Grenada, but throughout the Caribbean to speak on that issue. Again, the issue that they're speaking on will be reflections on the role of prime ministerial power and authority in regional and international spaces. And Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, member of the Privy Council and member of Parliament, former Prime Minister of Grenada and leader of His Majesty's opposition in Grenada. So he'll be speaking out there at the Errol Barrow Center for Creative Imagination. That's at the UE Cave Hill campus tomorrow. he will be doing that address. So we're looking forward to that particular one. And as such, tomorrow, I want to try and take the opportunity to broadcast that. It starts at 7. I'm not too sure how long it will go for. It's going to be an hour or a little over an hour. But we'll try to broadcast. So do not be surprised that you see us pop up at 7 p.m. tomorrow instead of 8. We might be a little early so that we can broadcast this activity. So it starts at 7 p.m. tomorrow evening. So look out for it on the Talking Points YouTube and Facebook page. I still have to work out some technical aspects. So definitely I'll have to come a little earlier than normal to get everything in place. But that should be on tomorrow from 7 p.m. That's going to be the 18th Patrick Emmanuel Memorial Lecture. And it's going to be on the issue of reflections on the role of prime ministerial power and authority in regional and international spaces. And of course, the speaker who will be delivering on that lecture, will be Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell. All right, so he'll be delivering that lecture tomorrow at the Cave Hill campus out there in UE. So we're looking forward to that one. As I said, that means that we may go live at 7, and then right after that lecture, we'll go into the program tomorrow night, God's willing. All right, so we're going to be attempting. As I said, I still have some technical aspects to work out, but it should not give us too much of a problem. So from 7 p.m. tomorrow, we're looking forward to go live with that lecture. Folks, also remember, there are some meetings taking place this weekend. All right, and I'm just trying to pull it up here. This weekend, there is the meeting. Why has all my stuff disappeared? And let me just take this call in the interim. We're heading to St. Mark on Saturday, and then we're heading to St. John on Sunday. So let me just go to the WhatsApp. Hello, good night. Hello.
Good night, children.
Hi, good night.
The Talking Points.
Hey, how you doing?
How we doing? I'm doing good, man.
All right, you go right ahead.
Yeah, Sheldon. 3 little things. That issue in Mongay with that bus shed, and I didn't listen to the minister when he gave me the explanation Sunday gone.
Oh, he gave an
But I guess
explanation.
snippets. Yeah, he was on the program, the NDC program, right? And what this guy is saying, does this guy know how land work and how property works and how boundary lines work? You know? Neighbors will fight for a foot or inch over the boundary line. So his explanation of is a strip of land and all this kind of thing, this guy clearly doesn't understand civics. Like 1. 2, the issue of this passport thing, we expect that. All I'm saying that when NDP come back in office, we just revoke all of them. Simple. Right? You okay with that? They talk for it.
You may not even have to revoke. You may not have to revoke it because they are for 5 years at a time, I believe. So, if they last 5 years, but you just recall that's not a big thing,
Right. The Prime Minister went in St. Lucia. You know the supporters of this party, of this NDC party, saying, well, he didn't went there as Prime Minister. He went there as political leader. He could go there as Prime Minister. He could go there as deacon. He could go there as minister. He could go there as God. What the man said was wrong. Why are they trying to justify this thing? And everybody's coming on, and this guy compounded it now by bringing it into Grenada and trying to say he's talking on a broader scale. Who does man feel dumb? Come on, man. Come on, brother. Brother Prime Minister, do better than that. Please do better. The unions complaining. Everybody complaining and afraid now because when they go online, what I understand happening in Sri Lanka, they have the hawks, they're going below people live. They want to know where you're living. They want to know what's your right name. They come in.
So
they come in and they come in very sneaky. Let it come. Because my name, they fully. My full name, my pictures, they come. And
so what, somebody's supposed to be afraid of them?
Exactly. And I say, inshallah,
let me just put it.
If we can get a list.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Let me just put it like this. Do not be afraid of these individuals. The New National Party had 4 seats in Parliament and the NDC had 11. And by the time elections rolled around again, the NDC had none and the NNP had all. So the NNP has 5 in Parliament right now. Right? Really 6, but somebody playing games with it, but 6. So they think that by the time the next election runs around, that they'll still be in office. They're lucky if they're able to save one seat. Anyhow, we just have to do the work. But go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing work. But what I'm saying also is that the Prime Minister or the leader of NDC also made a lot of mistakes in his speech. The man said NDC lose 11, 15. He attacked his own party. I want to know if he had 26 constituencies in Grenada. And lastly, before I go, if Grenada want to go to the Prime Minister's office, let's go down to the airport, Morris Bishop Airport, the departure lounge. That's the new Prime Minister's office. Well, let's have a good night.
All right, brother. All right, folks. And just to let you all know, again, some of the activities that are coming up. This Saturday, public meeting in St. Mark at Heroes Square. I'll be from 6:30 p.m. And also on Saturday, St. Andrew Northeast, Sister Kate. Yeah, she has the barbecue fundraiser on the Tivoli Hard Court. Sister Kate, I'm not seeing a date, a time. So when that is starting, please, message me. All right, Sunday, I'm seeing a lot of activities. And for some reason, the list I have in front of me does not have time on it for everything but one activity. This Sunday in St. John, there's a public meeting taking place in front of the Nutmeg Pool in Guelph. That starts from 6 p.m. to 9. All right. And then St. Andrews Southwest, this Sunday, they're having their tea, fashion show, and concert. Again, I'm not seeing the time. All right. We have a caller online. Hello. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Yeah, lower the volume in the background before you speak, please.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, it's throwing me off.
All right.
Still hearing it.
You're still hearing it?
Of course, very loud in my headphones.
Hold on.
Please take the volume off. There's no need to have it on.
You hearing it?
Yeah, go ahead now. Yeah.
Right. Based on how things are going now in the country, I want to encourage Grenadians, people who can vote, to go out and start registering themselves. Because it looked like anything could happen at any time. So we want to encourage the Grenadian citizen who is eligible to vote to go out and register. Thank you.
All right, my dear. 4407377. That's 4407377. So yes, St. John, their meeting is this Sunday in front of the Nutmeg Pool in Guelph. That starts from 6 p.m. St. Mark, their public meeting is this Saturday at Heroes Square. I believe it starts at 6:30. All right. And the St. Andrew Northeast, Sister Kate, she has their barbecue fundraiser that's taking place at the Tivoli Hard Court this Saturday. And let me see, St. Andrew Southwest, they have their tea, fashion show, and concert taking place this Sunday as well. I'm just trying to get the time. All right, folks, also, today I spent a lot of time looking at videos today, boy. What? Yeah. The IMF issued a report yesterday. The International Monetary Fund issued a report yesterday. Now, let's just say what is happening here is a lot of window dressing, a lot of smokes and mirrors, to try to give the impression that all is well in the state of Grenada. You are aware of what is happening. You're living here. But even if you're not living here, and you have your relatives living here, so you're based in the UK or wherever, you know they have to be sending by you sometime to be able to pay the electricity or to sort out different things here. They have to be asking you for the assistance. You know what is taking place. Yeah? You're very aware of what is taking place in Grenada. So people could try to bamboozle you, and there's a way for it gaslight you into believing otherwise. Now, there is a strategy, and I have been saying this to you. For the past few weeks, I've been saying this to you. Expect them to come with all kind of stories and so on, going down to the budget. Now, the budget is in 2 weeks' time. Roughly about 2 weeks' time, budget is going to be read. And then each of those members of parliament, government ministers, have to stand up and defend what they have been able to achieve, and we know they achieved nothing, but what they have done in the last year since the reading of the last budget. How have they utilized the funds that were placed under their particular ministry, and how have they serviced the people of their constituency? I'm seeing MPs announcing, and I won't advertise for them, so I won't say which one, but I'm seeing MPs advertising on the government side that they're going to be in office 3 hours, you know. I know when you had MPs on the New National Party side, it used to take a day. That is the day for being in the constituency and being in the office and going around. And so some MPs, they're so busy because probably they have a flight to catch that they're only going to be there for 3 hours. So I see the IMF report and I decide, well, okay, let me take some time, read the IMF report on Grenada. Yeah, read the IMF report, see what they're saying in relation to Grenada, right? I see they conclude the 2023 staff visit. I see they speak about various things. The Grenadian economy continues to grow robustly, supported by public and private construction and sustained strong tourism activity. So I see they say that. I say no. But what are they really talking about? Because if you're saying that there is strong construction activity, public and private, so I'm wondering about what they're talking about, main public thing. You have, in fact, here's what. Let's hear what PS Mike Sylvester had to say, because he was on he was on GBN this morning, right? He was on GBN this morning, and I wonder if I have what he had to say in relation to that. I'm looking for it. Yeah? In relation to construction. Yeah? Oh boy, and it doesn't seem as though I have that one with me tonight. As I said, I have been having little issues. Yeah, but when he was asked the question, what are the major construction projects and so that you're talking about in the public sector? Because public sector would mean government. Now, as far as I know, if economic growth, in other words, the economy in Grenada is growing because there's a lot of public construction taking place. Can you all point me to where that construction is? Because when he was asked, he spoke about G-Cruise. That is the water project. That water project means that they're supposed to be laying pipelines between Sendal Tunnel going right down to Point Saline, as far as I can remember. Right? I ain't see the road dig, I ain't see no pipes being laid, so you can't count that as being a contributing factor to economic growth in 2023. Not a pipe lay yet. You might buy the pipe, so that is expenditure. Yeah? Or you might start to put the plan in place of what you want to do, so you're paying your consultants. But that is not something that you could put as contributing significantly to the economic growth in the state of Grenada as a public construction project. All you see them pipe and them, all you see the pipe and them themselves? All you even see a bobcat come to dig somewhere to put down them pipe? But yet still, he's saying that that's a contributing. Then he mentioned the project on Fort George. Looking wonderful, yes, NNP again. Wonderful project. But then how many people are working there? Are you building any stadiums anywhere, any hospitals anywhere right now? No, you intend to, but we know that is years off, right? Any schools being built? Any roads being built? Any drains being built? Coming here, I went down in a pothole. I swear I end up in a next dimension, you know. Seriously, I feel it in the base of my skull. I swear I end up in a next dimension for a little bit. So what major construction projects are they speaking about? And that is in the IMF report, but we'll come to why it's in the IMF report in a little while. So that's in the IMF report. Can anyone, and let me check the live to see if anybody probably knows something I don't know. Where are the major construction projects that this government is doing? That this government is doing that is driving the Grenadian economy. You have the private construction projects. So in other words, you have the hotels that are being built in St. David. You have the one that's being built down in the south of the island at the Beach Club, Beach House project that's taking place there, right? And both of them have reduced significantly the amount of workers on their project because they're nearing the close. So they're the ones you're speaking about that driving the economic growth in the country right now, the so-called economic growth. So you're having economic growth and you're claiming unemployment is going down. And we're going to come to the unemployment lie by Mr. Lennox Andrew in a little while. I have it right here. We're going to come to that in a while. But they're claiming that how they had serious economic growth, and two of the main things that were driving that, according to what they said to the IMF, they're claiming two of the things that have been driving that have been, the public and private construction. In fact, let me see if I can, I like to speak and pull up things so that you can see for yourselves, right? Yeah, let me see if I could just get this so that you all will be able to see it for yourselves, right? So let me just pull that up here. Right. So they're saying here, the Grenadian economy supported by public and private construction and sustained strong tourism activity. And that's the IMF. I'm not reading the government one, I'm reading straight from the IMF. Right? So they're claiming that growth is due to serious government into serious construction. So government, I think, building all over. Right? And private construction. We know what the main private construction, the hotel in Lavera that they didn't want and now they love. The two hotels in St. David that they didn't want but now they love. And the hotel down in the south of the island there, down towards the airport, the beach house that they didn't want but now it's there. All right? So those things are things that existed from before. That is not an achievement of the NDC. All of those construction projects are construction projects that started under the New National Party and are winding down now to completion. And if you're saying those are some of the main pushers, those are some of the main contributors to your economic growth, then woe be unto you, because those are about to done. And sustained strong tourism activity. If you had 0 tourists in 2020 and you had 10 in 2021 and tourism reopened fully in 2022, later part of 2022, into 2023, tourism is now fully open, then you must call it strong, because if you had 10 people coming in last year, now you have the cruise ships coming in, Lap and Cut and so again, and they just started coming in. Yeah? So they're talking about strong tourism activity. That has nothing to do with the government. That have to do with the fact that tourism industry is open. The cruise ships are looking for places to go. And of course, Grenada is the most beautiful place you could go without dying and go to heaven. So they're going to come here. What does that have to do with the NDC administration? Yeah? So they said they had the IMF came here. And one of the reasons that they came here, according to what we heard this morning from Mr. Sylvester, is that they came early because they had other meetings. So this was an unscheduled visit by the International Monetary Fund. But here's what. The NDC administration was glad to get them to come here now, because they are looking to go into the budget and boast. So their intention is to boast about this report. But here's the thing. When the IMF visits a country, they tend to meet with various sectors. You cannot meet with the government alone, and for whatever reason, that is what happened this time. You cannot meet with the government alone and then come out from there and say all is well in the country. No, you need to meet with the opposition. You need to meet with civil society. You need to meet with the trade union movement. You need to meet with the business community. Instead of that, the IMF came here and they went and sit down in a pew and they only talk to the preacher and the choir. They didn't go outside the church and try and save any souls or to find out what the people outside think. They sit down in the church. As I said, and somebody even repeated it to me today, if you go in an NDC meeting and you ask in an NDC General Council or something, and you ask NDC, how is the economy of Grenada doing? To a man, everybody inside is saying the economy in Grenada good. Things nice in Grenada, the place beautiful. Yeah? Because you are sampling people of one particular mindset. If you step outside at the periphery of that meeting and you speak to the average man on the street, you may hear a story that is 180 degrees in the next direction. As they say, you're preaching to the choir. You're only talking to the people in the church. You ain't going outside and try and save no souls and find out why it is the people outside the church you want to come in. Or what is their perception. You're only speaking to the people in the church. So the IMF came here and only speak to the people in the church. They did not engage the opposition. They did not engage any of the other stakeholders. But then again, this government was glad that it could happen like that because they're going into budget. That is why you see they're rushing to build bus shed until they didn't have permission to do it. That is why you see them rushing right now to put hump in road. That's why they're rushing to do all sorts of things now because they need to have something to report. When they stand up in the House of Parliament and the cameras are turned on them and the radio stations are live, yeah, they want to be able to say, I have achieved A, B, C, D. But they wouldn't tell you that it was within the last 6 weeks that they've been trying to do that. People want to boast, we paint the whole country black and white. Yeah, if you want to be my baby, it doesn't matter if you're black or white. All over the country. Some people say it looking nice, no problem. But that's an achievement, that you paint black and white all over. But they did it because they want to be able to come and say it. You're seeing the potholes? You know when they're going to come and do those potholes? I bet you to do those potholes in 2 weeks before Christmas. Yeah? You know why? They're waiting until all the people overseas coming home for Christmas to block up the road and do it. So then the people will come in and say, whoa, this government working. You don't see teams out doing the road? That's when they're waiting to do it. When people start to come in for the Christmas, in the first 2 weeks of December, you go see they send out teams. Asphalt, lap and cut all over the place. Right now they're saying, lead them pothole, man. We go make the money in tax off of all them vehicles and them that getting damage going down in them pothole. Tell you, I hit one today. I swear I end up in the next dimension. Yeah? But let's hear what Mr. Sylvester had to say about why the IMF came at this particular time. Let's hear what he had to say about that. Yeah? So let me see if I could get him up here. Nice. Let's hear what Mr. Sylvester had to say about why the IMF came at this particular time.
We are happy that they have been able to actually come at this particular time. In fact, the mission was initially scheduled for early February, January, February. But of course, because of schedules and so on, they've had to adjust, and so that's why they're here. So it's not really a timing issue in terms of coming now. It's because of their schedule. They could not accommodate our January, February assessment, and so they're here. They were here this month.
So the IMF basically come here to say that they come. Because if you come on the 15th, 16th, and 17th, you come in on the 15th, so you might have a meeting on that day, the 16th, the 17th, you're gone about the business. So they didn't meet and get an overall picture of what the true situation is in Grenada. They speak to the government. You think that the government of Grenada are going to tell them things bad? They ain't telling them that. Who did they meet with when they came here? That question was asked of them this morning. And let me see where that one is. They were asked this morning, yeah, who did they meet with? And I'm looking for it. I don't know why all my stuff is suddenly mixed up today. Yeah, so I'm looking for that one. Let me take this call first of all. Hello, good evening.
Sheldon?
Yes, sir.
Good night, how are you?
Yeah, I'm quite fine.
You're brisk, man, you're brisk. Listen to me. Was Thursday night, I made some comments on your program about the places that want some fixing. Right. You know, I passed Sunday, I didn't observe it because I passed right there. But you know, today I passed where I talk about Young Street and Scott Street. There, yeah, and it is well paved.
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
So they're listening.
And the next point I want to make there, I don't want to say too long though. The next point I want to make there, with this lady that asked the Prime Minister the question about St. Lucia Day, you really had a good look at him when he answered the question?
Of course I had a good look at him. His facial expression said a lot.
Shame he can't even make a good answer to the lady. So that is very good for him. He felt good because he couldn't answer the question. Take care, partner. Have a good night.
All right, thank you. Yeah, let's find out who let's find out who the IMF met with when they came into Grenada. Yeah, let's find out if they meet with who they meet with, and so let's see if they only meet with the choir master, the pastor. Yeah, let's find out if it's only they only stay inside the church. They ain't come outside. Let me find out.
One other question I want to ask, who did the IMF meet with during their recent mission? Who did they actually meet and spoken with?
So the IMF met with of course, they met with the Ministry of Finance. They met with the CBI unit. They met with the National Insurance Scheme. They met with, as I said, mainly public sector institutions. They met with Garfing. So basically, those are the institutions they've met. They have, remember, they're looking as the basis the last Article 4 that was done in May. So basically, they have all the information that was done, all the research, and as I said, the Article 4 is a more detailed and substantial assessment of the economy. So it's not a 3-day or 5-day visit. It's basically a 3 or so weeks, and they will meet with everybody. So they will look at, and it's both a qualitative and a quantitative assessment. So when they come, they will look at the data that's presented from all sides that they would have met, or they would meet, and then they would of course have conversation and engagements and so on. So it's not a case where, for example, because the Ministry of Finance says that the economy is doing well, that the IMF will then say the economy is doing well. The IMF, they will do their own independent assessment and do their own research and so on. But on the basis of the May Article 4, where again the report was broadly positive in terms of what's happening in terms of economic growth and inflation and unemployment and so on, it's basically an update of those numbers, and so you can use that even as your basis in terms of the veracity of what they're saying, and the veracity of the initial findings in terms of the staff visit. But again, next May you will have a more comprehensive report, and of course you can again assess what and to what extent that have been spoken about are reliable. But again, the IMF is not doing this thing for the very first time. The IMF does this in all countries across the world, 189 plus countries, and they do the same assessment. So, and of course, we've done assessment in the past that we've relied on. So I'm not sure if there are questions about the assessment that the IMF has now given. So it can be a case where sometimes we like the figures and sometimes we don't. Yeah.
What we are saying is that for the IMF to have a more realistic picture of what is taking place in Grenada, they needed a more broad-based assessment. You can't go into a secondary school in Grenada trying to find out how the children think that the school is going and you only talk to the teachers. Let me say that again. I could make it, this is the simplest I could make it. You want to find out how a particular secondary school is going. But when you go to that school to find out how things going in that school, you only speak to the teachers and the principal. You ain't speak to the children. So you will not get a realistic picture of what is really taking place. You will not get the whole of what is taking place within the institution, the organization, or in this case, the country. If you're only speaking to the choir, if you're only speaking to the teachers, you're not speaking to the children. The children have issues. They might say, teacher, so-and-so need to go back and do some training. They know what they're about. They might say, sir, when we use in the bathroom, we had this problem with the bathrooms. The teachers have their own bathroom, so they know what the children going through when they go to theirs. And this is what happened here. The IMF came and they only spoke. The CBI unit, that's a government unit. The NIS, that is a statutory body attached to the government of Grenada. Garfin, that's a statutory body again, attached to government. Yeah? In fact, the board of directors of most of these are sent through the Ministry of Finance, of which the PS is the person that you're hearing speaking there. So if they come here and they only meet with that small amount of people, how come they could do a report that is truly reflective? You're talking about growth, and then you're speaking about unemployment figures. But let's get to the unemployment figures because we're running out of time tonight. So let's get to the unemployment figures. Now we know that quite recently we heard the Minister of Tourism, the Minister of Tourism, But he was speaking about the unemployment rate in the state of Grenada and so on. So he was talking about that. Let's hear exactly what he had to say, because remember, you had people that were posting things like, let me see if I could pull it up quick before I go to that story here. Let me pull it up here. Let me remind you all. Remember, and I want you all to remember this properly. Just remember what I'm putting up here. Let it stay with you, right? We're speaking about, you remember when people was posting this thing here? 15 months, this is the Honorable Tevin Andrews, the MP for Carriacou and Petit Martinique, right? So he's saying 15 months in office and the unemployment rate in Grenada moved from 28% to 11.9%. Let's continue to move Grenada forward. Let me read it again for those of you that may be listening via the radio and so on, or online on the website. 15 months in office and the unemployment rate in Grenada moved from 28% to 11.9%. Let's continue to move Grenada forward. That is what was said on the 24th of October. You see the post there by the MP for Carriacou, that the unemployment rate when they took office was 28%, and that they have brought it down to 11.9%. That was what they were saying. To add to that, we also have, Mr. Toaz. I mean, kind of difficult to listen to, but all you bear with me. Bear with me. Oh, sorry for your ears, but all you bear with me, okay? Forewarning. This is kind of difficult to listen to. Let me warn all you. It is difficult to listen to. There will be highs and lows and screeches. So protect your hearing, all right? You might have to muffle your hearing a little bit, but listen to what he's saying. And I want you all to listen carefully to what he's saying over this next minute.
I've just received data from our economic performance from unemployment level, and the data is showing from Statistics Department, the data is showing that the unemployment rate as of August is 11.9%. 11.9% from 28 where it was for August this year. 11.9% unemployment rate from 28%. Yeah? I have it here. I can show you. What is that? The data I received from the CPI says that CPI, the cost of living, is now 1.9%. 1.9%. Down from 3.3, where it was at the same time last year. So put all that into context. The economy is doing well.
Well, folks, you heard the minister claiming there that they got the they've got the unemployment rate down from 28%. Isn't that what we heard him say? All you want to hear it again? No, all you want to hear it again. And all you can't take the screeching kind of thing, right? Yeah, but let's hear what the PS in the ministry had to say about those figures. Yeah, because he was asked that question this morning, So let's hear what the PS had to say in relation to the unemployment figures. All right, let me just get that here. Nice. I like to make sure I have everything lined up properly. Right, because I have to make sure everybody can hear, those online and those on the terrestrial. So let's just get it here.
No, in the recent Sedona Parliament, we had the Honorable Lennox Andrew announce that the unemployment rate has moved from 28% to 11%. That's from August to November. Is that true, sir?
So what I can say about the unemployment rate, as you probably aware, and you can go back and check the details, peaked in 2020 as the second quarter of 2020, at the height of the pandemic, rising to 28.4%, if you may recall that. So when the COVID pandemic struck, the unemployment rate, in fact, increased significantly. It jumped to 28%. 20.4%, and then since then the subsequent labor force surveys that were conducted showed a decline in the unemployment rate. I think the last labor force survey put the unemployment rate around 16% thereabout. Now, those surveys were halted with the start of the census. Right now, the census, I may say, is a more comprehensive assessment of you will get a more comprehensive assessment of the labor situation in the country, because you are basically going and counting every household, counting every person, and looking at their characteristics and so on. So you will get a better unemployment figure vis-a-vis the census as opposed to a labor force survey. So they basically pause the labor force survey to be able to do the census, because of course you can't do all at the same time. And as you probably aware, the census is still not been finalized. But of course, based on the information that you have gathered, you will have unemployment data and so on. So in terms of August, I'm not sure if that's in terms of August of this year, I'm not sure if that's a misstatement. But the unemployment rate has been declining, and it has declined from 28.4% in 2020, the second quarter of 2020. And of course, the results of the budget, you will see an example of what the final numbers are with respect to where the unemployment rate is. So I think that's how I respond to this particular question.
Okay, because I was also asking, what could have contributed to that drastic reduction in a matter of 3 months,
Yeah, well, so that as I said, I don't know that there was a labor force survey in that last period. But the census, as you're quite aware, has been ongoing, and the census, of course, as opposed to a labor force survey where you just take a sample of the population and you extrapolate what the unemployment situation is, you basically go in and do a count of every person. That being said, the economy has been growing very strongly, and so in that context, unemployment should decline, and so when the budget is announced, of course, you will get the true estimate of what the unemployment number is. Of course, with all statistics, you have margins of error and so on. So it could be, in other words, if you miss someone or you didn't have a complete picture, you may have slight errors of what do you call it, degrees of error. Do you want to call it within any statistical measure?
All right, understandably so.
Mr. Mike Sylvester, that was not degrees of error. Mr. Toe's lie. Because he was claiming, and we saw Mr. Tevin Andrews' thing a little while ago, they were claiming that 15 months ago, in other words, when they took office in June 2023, that the unemployment rate in Grenada was 23%. And I believe Mr. Mike Sylvester, a button in Mike crease. Mike said the real thing. Because he telling you that the 28% they're talking about dates back to the year 2020. What happened in 2020? COVID. So all the people that were working in the hospitality sector, in other words, all the restaurants, they had to send the staff home. The hotels, they had to send the staff home. Even taxi drivers and so on, they were home. Because you couldn't go and run taxi and all this sort of thing. So a vast, even construction work halted. So it got to 28% in the year 2020. Mr. Mike Sylvester ain't lie. So he said that in the year 2020 is when the unemployment rate was 28%. Remember, I used 2 documents on this program that came out from the NDC to show that they lie. So he said the last figure from a labor force survey that they got was 16%. And remember, when I spoke to you all before, I was able to show you all the documents. I don't have it on the system tonight, where we were able to point to where they reference 16% unemployment in the year 2021. Not 28% and 30-something percent of the data to come down to 28 in June. But that unemployment in the state of Grenada, learn something, done, Tevin. Learn tonight. Idiot. Yeah, about 28% in 15 months. Damn fool. Yeah. So that the 28% refers to the year that you had COVID. Many of you listening now were unemployed. You were sent home. And you had to stay home until you could go back to work, until things ease up. And even in 2021, some places still didn't take back as much people because the tourism industry wasn't open to say, well, you have a pile of people looking to come into Grenada and you're going to open things? Even SGU, all the people that left in 2020, they didn't come back in the significant numbers that they were supposed to come back in. So all the periphery businesses that usually dealt with that. Remember, from SGU alone, you had close to 4,000 people that just hit plane and go in. In 2020, I'll forget the line of people stand up outside the airport. I'll never forget it. Going back to wherever they come out to go into the US, and so SGU organized plane. Plane after plane was just coming in and take people and go when COVID broke out. And they were trying to get back in their countries before Grenada shut down and before their country shut down. Yes, so a lot of that, they went over 4,000 people. Now those 4,000 people, if they were staying in guest houses and you had people that was cleaning the guest house and so they went home, they had nothing to clean. If they had kitchen and so on in the place that you had cook and they went home, they had nothing to do. So they were sent home. So you're talking about 28% in the year 2020, Mr. Mike Sylvester, ain't lie? Who lie? It's us. That is who lie for us. But remember, Mr. Toz, remember, eh? Yeah, just remember, Mr. Toz.
Have it here. Have it here to show you. What on that? What on that?
Yeah, he have it here. He have it here, he can show. Now, Mr. Sylvester also said that they are not taking the information now off of the labor force survey, which is giving a sampling of the amount of people. They take a sample of people in each parish and so on, and they come up with a figure and say, well, this is what the unemployment rate is. So just take a sample of different people. But they are now using the census. Now, if the census was being used over the years, you definitely would have seen the unemployment rate even smaller than the 16% that was given by the labor force survey in 2021. But in 2021, you started the process of the census. So he was saying that they couldn't have the two at the same time. So they decided to use the figures coming out of the census. So now that would be presented in Parliament. That is not achievement of the NDC. That COVID go away and places start open. They are really scraping the bottom of the barrel to make it look as though they have done something so wonderful. When things are happening, again, I often tell you all, things are happening in this country in spite of and not because of the National Democratic Congress. In spite of and not because of. So if you have close to 30% of the people home, close to 28%, they were home during that period of COVID. Remember, you had to have all kind of project where you had to help some of them through NIS and different things, and you had to present payments through CES and things to people, taxi drivers, bus drivers, this, that, the other, to try and help them out because they were unemployed during that period. Buses had to run half full. They couldn't make the amount of money they usually need to make to pay the bank and different things like that. So you had that situation. So bottom line, in all of that, it's Toz lie. He lie. Let me play Toz again. Let me play what Toz say again for you. Yeah. We not have it. Not just that. We're going to play what Mr. Toz say to you right now. We ain't going to put it up on the screen. We'll just play it here for you.
I've just received data from our economic performance from unemployment level. And the data is showing from Statistics Department, the data is showing that the unemployment rate as of August is 11.9%. 11.9% from 28 where it was for August this year. 11.9% unemployment rate. From 28%. Yeah? I have it here. I have it here to show you. What on that? What on that? The data I received from the CPI says that CPI, the cost of living, is now 1.9%. 1.9%. Down from 3.3, where it was at the same time last year. So put all of that in context. The economy is doing well.
So folks, yeah, you heard them. You heard him. Yeah? 28%. And remember, let me pull it up for you again. Remember, Brother Tevin the bosun. He bossing. Now he like pull up Brother Tevin for you, man. Yeah, Brother Tevin was bossing. Yeah? 15 months in office and unemployment rate in Grenada moved from 20. I don't know where you get the 28%. You get it from Toes, maybe. You'll sit down next to him grinning when Toes was saying that he did and grinning. Don't even understand what being spoken about, but he did grinning. 28% if you did read the medium term. And if you did read the fiscal documents that came out from their NDC administration this year and last year, he would not have made a fool of himself by coming and put up this 15 months in office. And you can take it down now, Tevin. You can get rid of it. I copied it already, so it don't make a difference. From 28% to 11.9%. That was a lie. Is a lie today, was a lie on the 24th of October, and will always be a lie. All you lie, all you just trying to get things. You're going into budget, so you want to try and look good. We understand that. We understand the context. But at least be realistic in the statements that you all are making, because after you all make all that mawet and wawet, comes Mr. Mike today. And I think he kind of throw Toes under the bus when he come and he talk there. Yeah, I want to pull up Mike again. Let me give Mike a little play again. I know time cutting short on us, but let me pull up Mike again. Yeah, we want to hear what Mike had to say, man. Yeah, we want to hear him. Right? Let me play Brother Mike again. Let me just cue him here.
In the recent Southern Parliament, we had the Honorable Lennox Andrew announced that the unemployment rate has moved from 28% to 11%. That's from August to November. Is that true, sir?
So what I can say about the unemployment rate, as you probably aware, and you can go back and check the details, peaked in 2020 as the second quarter of 2020, in the height of the pandemic, rising to 28.4%, if you may recall that. So when the COVID pandemic struck, the unemployment rate, in fact, increased significantly. It jumped to 28%. 20.4%, and then since then the subsequent labor force surveys that were conducted showed a decline in the unemployment rate. I think the last labor force survey put the unemployment rate around 16% thereabout. Now those surveys were halted with the start of the census. Right now, the census, I may say, is a more comprehensive assessment of you will get a more comprehensive assessment of the labor situation in the country, because you are basically going and counting every household, counting every person, and looking at their characteristics and so on. So you will get a better unemployment figure vis-a-vis the census as opposed to a labor force survey. So they basically pause the labor force survey to be able to do the census, because of course you can't do all at the same time. And as you probably aware, the census is still not been finalized. But of course, based on the information that you have gathered, you will have unemployment data and so on. So in terms of August, I'm not sure if that's in terms of August of this year, I'm not sure if that's a misstatement. But the unemployment rate has been declining, and it has declined from 28.4% in 2020, the second quarter of 2020. And of course the results of the budget, you will see an example of what the final numbers are with respect to where the unemployment rate is. So I think that's how I respond to this particular question.
Okay, because I was also asking, what could have contributed to that drastic reduction in a matter of 3 months, Yeah,
well, so that I as I said, I don't know that there was a labor force survey in that last period. But the census, as you quite get aware, has been ongoing, and the census, of course, as opposed to a labor force survey where you just take a sample of the population and you extrapolate what the unemployment situation is, you basically go in and do a count of every person. That being said, the economy has been growing very strongly, and so in that context, unemployment should decline, and so when the budget is announced, of course, you will get the true estimate of what the unemployment number is. Of course, with all statistics, you have margins of error and so on. So it could be, in other words, if you miss someone or you didn't have a complete picture, you may have slight errors of what do you call it, degrees of error, if you want to call it, within any statistical measure.
All right, understandably so.
Yeah, degrees of error. Yeah, I ain't calling it degrees of error, Mike. I'm calling it a blatant lie The man try and bamboozle Grenadians along with the rest of the cabinet. They try to bamboozle. Yeah? Because it's obvious. That is what they try. They try to bamboozle the Grenadian people into making them believe that when the new National Party left office, that unemployment in this country was at 28%. And after they came in, that they have brought it down now to 11.9%. That is what they did. They attempted to get us to believe that it's a good thing we don't ship it. We dealt with it here before. We were able to pull the medium-term information and all of that. And we were able to show that, as I said, I don't have the documents with me tonight. But we were able to show that. So they lie. And if you're measuring between COVID-19 and now, obviously you'll see growth. Nothing was going on in 2020. If you're talking about the transportation sector and you're measuring 2020 to now, yes, you will see growth. You know why? Because it had nothing in 2020. It has something now. Right? So you definitely would look at that and you'll say, well, there's growth. Yeah, you will say there's growth. It has nothing to do with the NDC. It is happening in spite of and not because of them. And that is what is taking place throughout this thing. Remember, they're referencing the IMF report of earlier this year. Remember, that IMF report, Article 4 consultation that they're speaking about, that was released earlier this year, has nothing to do with the National Democratic Congress. It is based on the new National Party budget for the year 2022. So the various things that were put in place and the financial measures that were taken by the new National Party for the year 2022 is what created the positive report in the IMF report for earlier this year. Not anything that the NDC do, it happened in spite of them. They just happened to be in office that to run on the NNP budget. Yeah? But let me say something as we speak budget here. I hear that those MPs are about to take another significant raise again on the salary. I mentioned it. I hear so. So let's see what the budget says. Because remember, they already take a 2,000 raise. I hear they're going up further. I hear that they're going up further. They're taking another raise on top of the raise that they get the last time. They're taking another raise again. So that is why I hear. So let's see. I'm looking, as I said, I'm still looking forward to budget, you know. I'm looking forward to budget day because remember, Mike say budget is when you're going to get a realistic. Yep, in other words, excuse me, anything that you hear before ain't realistic, eh? Now you're going to get a realistic, a boxing mic or kind of thing. Not that mic, this mic. Right? Yeah, I would never box that mic. That would never happen. Yeah. Now you're getting, in the budget, he said you'll get a realistic. In other words, where here in Parliament, they wasn't realistic. And in fact, they were trying to get the impression that was within a 3-month period. If you listen carefully, that's the first impression they're trying to give you, eh? Within a 3-month period, they're able to bring it down from 28% to that. Then you see the same, within a 15-month, they're able to bring it down from that to that. Anything they could get you to believe. But it's a good thing that we are wrong. So we continue to educate you all in relation to these things when they try it. Yeah? We will continue to educate you all in relation to these things. Because I really want to see what Mr. Toes have. Because remember what he says. Now we say, he says.
I have it here. I have it here. I can show you. What on that? What on that?
You have it? We want to hear.
I have it here. I have it here. I can show you. What on that? What on that?
Yeah, we want. You have it here. You have it right here. We can show you. You have it here. You have it here. You have what here? The lies? That is what, because that is basically what you've been telling us. Lies. Yeah? Misdirection, smoke, and mirrors. That's what we have been getting. Yeah? So they come out with the IMF report, which is based basically on the figures and so on that they got from the IMF Article 4 consultation that took place earlier this year, that this NDC administration is trying to claim reflects work that they have. It doesn't reflect work that you did. The new National Party passed a budget in the later part of 2021. That budget affected all of the money that was going into different areas and so on, the fiscal measures that were taken for the year 2022. The IMF Article 4 is based on what took place in 2022 with the new National Party budget. And it is a positive report based on that. The Article 4 that we're going to be seeing coming up will be based on both, because you still have continuing projects that started from under the new National Party, i.e. the construction projects they're talking about, inclusive of the fort, because while they came and they started the actual construction when it was supposed to start, all of that was organized by the new National Party and is happening in spite of who is in office and not because of who is in office. So all of those construction and so that they're talking about still leads back to the new National Party. The G-Cruise that they're looking forward to, and I didn't even touch the CBI tonight, I'm going to leave the CBI for another night. We don't have enough time. But the G-Cruise they're talking about, yes, that is going to start next year. And they said they had lost money for the... I'm still waiting. I would like the Prime Minister one day to present to the Grenadian people the proof that Grenada had lost that G-Cruise project. The IMF, they even been speaking about, in relation to the CBI, that some of what government is looking forward to next year's revenue in the CBI program, again, the same thing that was said at the CBI conference recently, is based on monies from people who are not yet processed. Basically, the Russian pipeline into Grenada that is going to be, they are going to be processed now, and therefore those money are going to come into the CBI program in 2024. So they're looking forward to that. Yeah? Along with whatever else they could pick up from Nigeria and China and the Middle East and so on. Right? So those are some of the things that I just wanted to speak to you all on tonight. I'm sorry that I was unable to take as much. I saw some people calling, but because of the flow, we were unable to take the calls tonight as we would want to. All right? But tomorrow, remember, from 7 p.m., we are going to attempt to broadcast that session with Dr. Mitchell out there in Barbados at the Cave Hill campus as he delivers his lecture. So we're going to be doing that tomorrow night. I also, there's an activity when it comes to the Wester Hall Music School. I'm going to have to play that one for you all tomorrow night. I don't have it loaded. But there are quite a few activities coming up. I know St. George Northwest is having a barbecue coming up and so on next week. We're going to give you all the information in relation to those activities. Remember, Saturday, we're in St. Mark. Sunday, we're in St. John. Both of them starting around 6:30. We're in St. John, in front of the Nutmeg Pool. On Sunday, we're in St. Mark, in Heroes Square. On Saturday, all right? Nice. So we're looking forward to all those activities, folks. That's all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. It has been wonderful being here with you in everything you say and do. Do it safe and secure. Want to be speaking to and with you, and definitely not about you. Love each and every one of you. My name is Sheldon Scott. I am out. See you all tomorrow night, God's willing. Remember, we should be starting at 7 and not 8. Just letting you all know. All right? I am out.
Shuttle to me again. Cloud, we don't want to stop singing. No, we love your rhythm and melody. And you're making us feel so happy because it's sweet, sweet, sweet. Look, we really love it. We like your music, yes, we really dig it. I say it's nice, nice, nice. Please, oh God, don't stop it. Give us the music, yes, yes, so come it. Why the melody have to be so sweet, and you can't resist, but the music's sweet. I say it's nice, nice, nice. Please, oh God, don't stop it. Give us the music, yeah, we can't resist it. I say it's sweet, sweet, sweet. Look, we really love it. We want the music, yes, yes, it's so come it. Yes. Your melody now getting to me, yes, we have never heard.